the ABC News exclusive. You can see the aerial efforts right here over my shoulder, Topanga Canyon. 3 days into this disaster, and they are still fighting the fires. Now dropping water from above. You can see the line of retardant. Tonight we take you up in the sky with CAL FIRE as they continue to try to knock down these fires.
Tonight, the extraordinary images from the air. Our first view from above, flying with CAL FIRE, as they show us the firefight and the unimaginable scene of destruction. Flying over the Palisades fire, smoke rising in every direction. Neighborhoods, one after the other, reduced to ashes. And we're in the air as CAL FIRE drops water on the canyons below as they try to save homes tonight. It's now believed more than 10,000 homes and structures have been destroyed by the fires. Those who have been allowed to return have found nothing left. Tonight, a new fire breaking out, and the Kenneth Fire erupting overnight, quickly burning across nearly 1,000 acres now in just a matter of hours. Tonight, some 8,000 firefighters and emergency personnel on the front lines, the heroes fighting these fires, some losing their own homes while they battle the flames to save others. A firefighting plane colliding with a drone in midair, putting a hole in the wing. Tonight, 180,000 people evacuated, another 200,000 under evacuation warnings. And what the CAL FIRE commander told me in the air when I asked about the dangerous winds, now in the forecast again. Our team tonight across the fire zone. The other news this Friday night, the plane scare in the ice and snow, a Delta flight forced to abort takeoff. Pilots reporting an engine problem. The passengers evacuated onto the runway, multiple people injured. The dangerous winter storm now moving from Texas to the East Coast. Tonight, 10 days before the inauguration, President-elect Donald Trump sentenced as a convicted felon. And what Trump said today, appearing virtually in that courtroom. Trump will now be the first president in U.S. history to enter office a convicted felon. Chilling new video emerging tonight from the streets of New Orleans. Police releasing graphic body camera video of the deadly shootout with the terror suspect in the French Quarter, just hours into the new year. And tonight, the U.S. TikTok ban is now just 9 days away. TikTok now pleading its case to the Supreme Court and what the justices are now signaling tonight. A special edition of World News Tonight begins now.
From ABC News, this is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, reporting tonight from Malibu.
Good evening from Southern California as we come on the air live here in the West tonight. We are just back on the ground tonight after having witnessed the urgent effort underway from the air. More than 3 days after the fires first broke out, I just flew up over the fires with CAL FIRE, and while we were in the air, we witnessed not only the devastation along the Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu and Pacific Palisades, miles of homes wiped away, but also days into this fire, we witnessed the water being dropped on active fires right now. They are trying to save entire neighborhoods deep in the canyons, and you're about to see it right here. Overnight, peak winds again gusting to 81 miles an hour. Red flag warnings remain in place tonight, and they are very concerned about strong winds in the forecast yet again. It's believed some 12,000 homes and structures have burned to the ground. At least 11 people have died. That number is expected to rise. Our ABC News exclusive right here tonight, the view from above as we travel with CAL FIRE. We were in the air late today as crews dropped water on Topanga Canyon below as they try to save homes in Fernwood. The Palisades fire, the biggest by size, more than 20,000 acres now, home after home, street after street, turned to ashes. Just 8% contained. New fires continue to flare up, this one breaking out late today. And tonight, the Eaton fire in Altadena and Pasadena is now the most destructive in LA history, believed to have destroyed more than 7,000 structures, homes, and businesses, just 3% contained. Just 24 hours ago, the Kenneth Fire erupting in West Hills, burning over 1,000 acres in just a matter of hours. 8,000 firefighters and emergency personnel now deployed here, including the National Guard. Firefighters from all over the country stepping in, but most live here, working around the clock in horrific conditions, some losing their own homes. They are the heroes here. And tonight, the questions now being asked about decisions made early on in these fires. But we do begin tonight with our flight with CAL FIRE up over the devastation and the fires here still burning as we come on the air here in the West on this third night from California.
Tonight, the ABC News exclusive. We take flight with CAL FIRE up over the Pacific Coast Highway, headed toward the Pacific Palisades. And the first images we see here, the coastline. The homes of Malibu that once lined the ocean are gone.
It's just stunning to look at this stretch along the Pacific Coast Highway here in Malibu. You can see it right over the shoulder here. Home after home just completely gone.
They are taking us to where they say there is a firefight right now from the air. They are now dropping water. But before we even get there, over this ridge, the Pacific Palisades, entire communities wiped away, homes burned to the ground.
This is just a devastating view as we fly over Pacific Palisades. You can see down below just how quickly these fires spread.
CAL FIRE Deputy Incident Commander Justin McComb.
When you look at the scope of the devastation here, what kind of winds were you dealing with in those first 24 hours?
The winds that we saw were 70, 80 miles an hour along the Pacific Coast Highway, and that was what the environment the firefighters were dealing with. There was embers just flying across laterally. Very difficult to even do anything as far as perimeter control. They were putting the edges of the fire out. It was mainly going house to house and protecting as many homes as you could. And the priority was for the life safety, to try to get people out of the fire.
He tells me 3 days into this historic disaster, they are still fighting the fires here. We see bulldozers on this ridge trapping the fire.
You can see the flames burning over our shoulder here. This is now 3 days into this. Almost impossible to get to that.
And then we see it. Choppers in the air crossing the canyon, dropping water, trying to protect the homes with flames moving in.
You can see the urgent effort here right now. This is Topanga Canyon. They're trying to save the homes in Fernwood. That helicopter just dropped water from the air. 3 days into this disaster, they are still fighting fires here, and they have a tool now at their disposal, which is water in the air.
There are so many fires still burning here, more than 72 hours now after the first fires began. Tonight, the Palisades fire, the Eaton fire, the Hearst fire, the Lydia fire, the Kenneth fire, and the newest fire to break out, the Archer fire, all still burning. Back on the ground tonight, the families returning home to see what, if anything, is left. The father who told me his wife, his 2 boys are safe, but they lost everything. And while we were in that neighborhood, we learned of another family nearby. They had not been back. One of the children, 21-year-old Jacob Brown, going back today, and he showed me what he found.
David, I'm sure you saw, the entire town is gone. Our lives, our homes, our friends, everyone has lost everything. I don't understand how you can attempt to rebuild an entire community without schools and roads and homes. It's devastation beyond the comprehensible.
Jacob's childhood home, now nothing but ashes. He rings the doorbell of a friend's home, haunting because it still rings, though behind it, there is nothing left. The alarms still ringing here in what was once a church and a school.
There's still hot spots, active fire.
Just a few miles to the east, David Hansen is still waiting to get back in to see his mother's home.
LA Fire Department, total heroes, doing a great job.
David giving a thumbs up to the firefighters. His mother, a senior, capturing video from outside her home just 30 minutes after the fire broke out nearby. Her neighbors were trying to use water from their pool to protect their home. Tonight, across Los Angeles, at least 11 lives now lost. It's believed more than 12,000 structures, homes, and businesses damaged or destroyed. More than 55 square miles burned. More than 150,000 under evacuation orders. Since the first fires broke out Tuesday morning, around the densely populated 25-mile expanse north of downtown LA, tonight still no cause has been identified for any of the largest of these fires. Just north of the Palisades fire tonight, the Kenneth fire, erupting late yesterday afternoon near the Ventura County line. Firefighters battling the blaze from the ground, helicopters dropping water from above. A line of firefighters heading up the hill together, tackling yet another fire head on. The all-out assault continuing through the night. Headlamps helping crews navigate the terrain. Tonight, the before and after images from these fires, and they're staggering. This is a condo building on Sunset Boulevard in Pacific Palisades, and this is what's left of it. A Chevron gas station in Altadena before and now. And this cafe in Altadena, the sign once hanging out front, crashing to the ground. And tonight here, an eerie new look at the wildfires. A home security camera capturing the moments flames close in on Walter and Yalda Cease's Altadena home, embers flying through the air. The couple had evacuated, and now they're back.
It's overwhelming. I don't know how we're going to get through it, but we will. I know we will. It's just going to be a long process.
They and their 2 dogs are safe, but they have nothing. And like so many here, they tell us they will rebuild. While back in the air tonight, firefighters dropping water from above while they can, knowing dangerous winds are ahead.
When you think about these firefighters who really haven't had a break since this started, and to look at this forecast and see that these winds are coming yet again, what do you think?
It's tough, but you know, we've bolstered our assets. We've actually had not only some of the regional resources from Southern California, but we've got resources from Northern California. We've got resources from Nevada, Colorado on the way. So we've got resources coming in to back us up on this.
With these winds returning.
Correct.
So many of these firefighters have not had a break since this all started. And tonight, the desperate battle from the very start against the flames here. An army of firefighters right there on the front lines in harrowing conditions. Reports of hydrants without water or with little pressure. One reservoir offline for repairs. ABC's Matt Gutman tonight with firefighters at one fire station in Pacific Palisades that actually survived.
Tonight on the Palisades fire, the back-breaking round-the-clock race to put out remaining hotspots like these still burning this morning.
We are still seeing homes burst into flames here days after the initial fire passed through. Fire crew just arrived here for the first time.
But swirling around them, controversy about whether Los Angeles officials failed to supply enough water and deploy enough firefighters.
This is Sunset Boulevard, the very heart of Pacific Palisades, and amidst this sea of absolute devastation, there was one building that was left standing. That's Fire Station 69.
Captain Jeff Brown has headed this station for nearly 8 years.
Lots of talk about the water running out, that you were fighting a fire without all the resources necessary.
As all these homes actually do burn down, and a lot of them have their own fire sprinkler systems, that those sprinkler systems become compromised as the house burns down and the water will free flow. And as we see our gauges go down lower and lower, we knew we were getting low on water.
And thousands of simultaneous leaks sapped the town's water supply. But that's not all. Tonight, ABC News has confirmed a nearby 117 million gallon reservoir that feeds Pacific Palisades has been taken offline for repairs well before the fires broke out. But that night, firefighters battling flames over 100 feet tall, which destroyed much of the town in a span of just 6 hours.
If you'd had all the resources and all the water, would it have made a difference here?
I've been on the job for 36 years, and I've never seen weather like that. It was a hurricane force wind with fire involved. It was indescribable.
David, the LAPD tells me they expect to find additional bodies in the debris here, which is prompting a swirl of controversy about whether lives could have been saved. And it's one reason that Governor Gavin Newsom is demanding an independent investigation into those water issues, calling it deeply disturbing. David.
Questions for weeks and months ahead on all of this. Matt Gutman tonight. Our thanks again to you. And you heard the concern when we were up in the air with Cal Fire late today about the Santa Ana winds in the forecast yet again here. Meteorologist Leslie Lopez from our station right here in Los Angeles, KABC. Her own father, a longtime LA firefighter, and she's been reporting on this from the very start for us. Leslie, what do you expect in the hours and days ahead?
David, thank you for acknowledging my father, and thank you to all the firefighters. We are talking about calm conditions right now here in the Altadena area. However, big changes right now. A fire weather watch that will go into effect Saturday into Sunday, and then beyond that, Monday into Tuesday, another strong Santa Ana. Now, David, that low pressure center that brought with it that extreme wind is moving across the nation, and we are talking about winter storm warnings affecting Tennessee all the way out to the Ohio Valley. We're talking about 6 inches of snow possible, very icy conditions making roads treacherous from Atlanta to the Carolinas. Now that's through tonight. Now that system will bring with it snow showers to the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast as early as Saturday. David.
Meteorologist Leslie Lopez and the entire team at KABC, just incredible, important work on the ground here, and we thank you. We should note tonight that our entire team is standing by here for a live special edition of 2020 tonight, American Catastrophe LA Burning. Our team live across the fire zone at 9 p.m. Eastern. New reporting on the fires, the major questions here. How were so many homes lost? The lives forever changed, the hero firefighters, and where Los Angeles goes from here. We'll see you later for that. You also heard Leslie report there on this winter storm we're tracking as well tonight, sweeping across the south, right into the east, eventually heading right into the northeast. 75 million Americans are on alert, treacherous travel, some 3,000 flights canceled. And Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, an emergency on the tarmac, more than 200 passengers escaping down slides. ABC's Ike Kachachi at the airport for us tonight.
Tonight, just seconds after a Delta jet bound for Minneapolis began rolling down this snowy Atlanta runway, an emergency on board, forcing the pilot to abort the takeoff.
There's flames coming out the back of engine number 2.
Pilots reporting engine failure.
You said there's fire coming out of the right engine?
Yes, that's what they're showing.
All right, we're going to evacuate on the runway.
More than 200 passengers forced to evacuate by slide in the middle of the storm.
This is crazy. This is us out in the snow.
4 passengers suffered minor injuries and 1 was taken to the hospital. The cause now under investigation. But that storm today forced ground stops for hours at Hartsfield Airport. More than 1,000 flights canceled, 3,000 flights across the country. And across the South, a state of emergency where slick roads made for dangerous driving.
If you do not have to be on the road, please do not get on the road.
And David, there are warnings for the potential of icy conditions across the South as this storm stretches from Georgia to the Carolinas tonight. David?
All right, Ike Kachachi with us tonight. Ike, we appreciate it. Well, tonight, 10 days before the inauguration, President-elect Donald Trump has now been sentenced as a convicted felon. What Trump said today, appearing virtually in that courtroom, Trump will now be the first president in U.S. history to enter office a convicted felon. Here's our senior investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky, tonight.
Tonight, Donald Trump becoming the first ever president sentenced for committing a crime.
Never before has this court been presented with such a unique and remarkable set of circumstances.
Chief among those circumstances, Trump's win in November. It's why he received no real punishment.
The only lawful sentence that permits entry of a judgment of conviction without encroaching upon the highest office in the land is an unconditional discharge.
That means no prison time, no fine, and no probation. But Trump, appearing virtually, called it a terrible experience.
I'm totally innocent. I did nothing wrong.
A jury convicted him of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records to keep voters from finding out about his long-denied affair with porn actress Stormy Daniels. Trump faced up to 4 years in prison. Instead, Judge Juan Rochon sent the president-elect on his way with this parting message.
Sir, I wish you Godspeed as you assume your second term in office. Thank you.
So now, David, in just 10 days, Trump becomes the first convicted felon to assume the presidency. And because this is a state case, he cannot issue a pardon to himself. David?
Aaron Katersky in New York tonight. Aaron, thank you. When we come back here, the chilling new video from New Orleans for the first time right here, the graphic video of the deadly shootout with the terror suspect right in the French Quarter. Also, the U.S. TikTok ban just 9 days away now, and what the Supreme Court is now signaling about this tonight. And later right here, a major announcement and how you can help the families here too. Tonight, New Orleans police have released graphic body camera video of the shootout with terror suspect Shamsuddin Jabbar in the French Quarter. Police say he opened fire as officers confronted him in his rented white pickup truck on Bourbon Street. Authorities say moments earlier, Jabbar rammed into crowds in the French Quarter, killing 14 people and injuring more than 30 others. When we come back here tonight, TikTok pleads to the Supreme Court to save TikTok in the U.S. What the justices, though, are signaling tonight, and so many of you have been asking, how can you help people here in Southern California? We've got some answers for you in a moment. Tonight, the Supreme Court is now signaling it will uphold the law banning TikTok in the U.S. The law set to take effect in 9 days now, blocking TikTok in America, unless the China-based owner ByteDance sells the popular app to an American company. The company says the ban violates First Amendment rights. The government calling TikTok a national security threat. Chief Justice John Roberts appearing to support concerns about TikTok's accessing personal information of Americans. When we come back here tonight, a major announcement right here on this broadcast and how you can help the people here in California too. Before we go tonight, the thousands of people in need across Southern California, across the Los Angeles area. Well, tonight, Disney, the parent company of ABC, announcing it is donating $15 million to wildfire relief. Disney offering support to the Red Cross, the Los Angeles Fire Department Foundation, and the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank, among others. Our parent company also says it will work closely with the business community to find ways to support the rebuilding efforts in the area. The Red Cross and Salvation Army are also on the ground here. If you'd like to help, you can go to redcross.org or to salvationarmyusa.org. I thank you for watching. A special edition of 2020 American Catastrophe LA Burning airs tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm David Muir reporting from California. I'll see you then. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir America's most watched newscast.